So what's that?
You just created a strut with a
No, I
direct
didn't create a struct. I created
A direct-
an array
with 50.
of structs.
Okay.
Each of which looks like this. So what does that look like? It looks like 50 lines of name inode, name inode, name inode, doesn't it? Right? Makes sense. Okay, so now, suppose that I want to get the root directory. Tell me what to do.
Slash.
So we're also going to need, how about int inum, okay, and then struct inode my inode. All right, so I'm going to read the root directory, okay? So, where does the root directory start? What inode number?
0.
0. So, help me out here.
Int, you have the int 0. I mean int. Read inode.
Read inode
Int.
0 and put it into one of these things. Okay? Where's one of those things? How about right here? So how about my inode gets read inode 0. Now, what do we have in memory? We got one of these guys. Remember what it looked like? Time, size, blah, blah, blah. Right? And would you agree that we could interpret from the size how many of these lines it takes? You
Yes.
can get an idea, right?
Yes.
Because look, each name is guaranteed to be 20 bytes, yes? And each inode is an int is guaranteed to be 4 bytes. So what's the size of one line?
24 bits.
24 bytes. So we would know, based on the size that's found in my inode.size, we could deduce how many lines go into dir int, into dir, couldn't we?
Yes.
Does that make sense? All right. And so, watch. All right, so we're just abstracting it away for right now. Okay? So what do you suspect this does?
It loads
It loads into this array.
the directory.
Oh, by the way, my bad. Sorry. Yeah, okay. This is a little redundant, but that's okay. Strictly speaking, what I should really be sending is probably just my inode. Because if it has my inode, it knows what size it is, it knows where the blocks are. But I want to get the point across that in order to load up this directory, let's see what happens under the covers without scoping it out. Let's see what happens under the directories of the load dir. Now what is load dir going to have to call over here? So what's it going to do first? It's going to look in the inode. And what's it going to find in the inode? Aside from all the metadata, what else is it going to find in there?
Okay.
It's going to find a bunch of addresses. And where are they located?
In the block.
In the attribute called BL, which was an array,
Okay.
right? And so each of those contains what? an address of a block, doesn't it?
Yes.
Right? So it's going to walk through that array, and how's it going to know when it's done? Based on size. So it's going to know
It's gonna go to the
how
top.
many blocks it needs to read. And then it's going to read all of those blocks one at a time using what function?
Read.
It's going to use the
Strut.
read block. And what's going to go here? It's going to be the block that's contained in an element of this array. Remember, there were 10 of these. So it's going to take the ith one, and it's going to put it into a block. So therefore, down in the bowels of read dir, load dir, what am I going to need? An array of struct
Struts.
blocks.
But I thought you had already created that.
No, we're doing it at a very high level. So I've got an array of struct blocks, however many I need to accommodate however many lines can be filled with size blocks, with size bytes. All right, so I read all the blocks in. Now, what do I do with those blocks? Now that the data's there, where does it go?
Goes into your array, doesn't it? To my block. Mine, yeah.
It goes into this array. So just for the sake of argument, let's pretend that this was, hang on. I'll be a little sloppy here. 59. And then, okay, so 59, there's actually 60 there, because there's a null byte at the end. Okay, so we'll leave it at 60 to avoid the confusion. And then how big is an int?
64?
Well, it depends. Let's say it's 4. So altogether, what does one line take?
64.
64 bytes. All right, 64 bytes. Let's say 64 bytes. All right, good. And so based on size, I could figure out how many lines it takes. So when this guy comes back, what's it going to look like? Let's draw a picture of what it's going to look like. It's going to look something like this. If I visioned it, I would see dot, dot, 0, dot, 0, right? Then I would have home, 37, bin, 19, Etsy, 48, like that. Something wrong? Tell me what we're laughing at.
Because there was a here there, so.
Oh!
And you didn't say it.
You let me down, El Nasser, you let me down. So now, where did this data live? Where did this data live? In the blocks whose addresses appeared in
My
inode
node.
0. Does it make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So now suppose I'm in the root directory and here's where I am. And now I do this. I go make dir opt. Many Unix boxes have a directory called opt, which is where optional pieces of software get installed. And I'm assumed to be in the root directory. All right? What do you suppose this does? This
Make a
is what we type
directory.
at the terminal.
Make a directory.
Yes. So if I'm assuming here that I did a pwd and it came back and it said slash. All right? So I'm at the Unix prompt and I type in present working directory. It comes back and tells me you're in slash. And then I go from the Unix directory, the root directory, I go make dir opt. Now we know what it's going to do. It's going to make a directory. But what does that correspond to?
The root directory.
So it's in the root directory, so it's going to do all of this, and it's going to get this back. Now what does it have to do?
You have to put it somewhere, right?
Doesn't it have to create a directory?
Yeah.
How does it do that? How do I create a directory here?
You go get a free.
I need an inode first. Yes?
Yes.
So it's gonna go get an inode. And what's gonna go in the, and suppose it comes back, and how's it gonna get an inode?
It's gonna it's
Get
gonna.
free
I know.
So now I've got an inode number squirreled away someplace, and just to shorten things up, let's squirrel it away here. 94,
Okay.
right? And what was the name of the file that I created?
Dirt.
It was called opt.
Oh,
Listen
okay.
up. Opt. Okay? So I record that here, and then I do a write dir, if you want, to put that back. Okay? See? All right? And now, I've got this inode 94. What does it look like? It's an in-memory copy. This is inode 94. So, up here I put, what's its current size?
64.
64. No, it's
No,
6.
it's 128.
Oh, yes.
Because every directory has here and
Here.
here. Okay, so its minimum size is 128, right? So we put size 128, okay, da. Now, let's say that blocks hold 1,024 characters. How many blocks does it currently need?
Okay.
Just one, yes? It only needs one block. And what's it going to record in the block?
The
It's going to record in a
meta.
block a picture that looks like this. Dot, 0, dot, 94. You see why? What does that correspond to?
It corresponds to opt.
It corresponds to opt's directory. And since opt is a directory file, by the way, right?